What's up, fellas? We got Peyton Chotnier. Got it. Getting better with that. I've been getting it right. And
most of the time you get it right.
Yeah, I'm Barstool Mintzy. We're joined by Luke Hill today, Ole Miss star infielder. Had Hunter Elliott last week, got a good response. So we're going to give the people what they want. We're going to do more interviews. And first of all, Luke, thanks for coming on. Appreciate your time. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I just want to say thank y'all for having me. This is an honor. This is pretty cool.
Hell yeah, man.
You're off to a hell of a start right now. A great start for Ole Miss, winning 2 out of 3 in that Arlington tournament. Beating two top 25 teams in Clemson, Arizona. Just swept Eastern Kentucky. And I've been watching all these games. I've followed it. Hitting 462, not a bad start to the season.
Yeah, it's a lot better than last year. Last year, I remember I told myself going into this year I was going to do everything I could, just work and prepare myself to have a really good start of the year because people don't remember some people might, but it was like the complete opposite of this. So, I feel I'm in a really good mental headspace. The vibes are high in the locker room. Especially going out in the first weekend, and you got to get put to the test early. You got 3 top 25 squads, and for us it was huge. Like we got our whole starting rotation back, and having Hunter go up in game 1, and we dominated game 1. It felt like, and just having those things carry over, it was a pretty sweet feeling to have those fans just kind of get excited for a little bit and come back home and make a statement sweep as well.
Yeah,
we always normally do pretty well in those those opening tournaments. Like B does a good job of getting everybody ready. But you were saying
his pregame stories get you going. They're good. They're really good. The other day he told us a story about Stanford, like how Stanford University got brought up, and I was just like, dang, I did not expect this guy to get me going for a baseball game.
It or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. They went to the dean of some other school, and then they were like, oh, whatever. Yeah.
They went to the president. Yeah. They were waiting outside for 6 hours. The president finally came out, and they told him how much money it costs to build up a university. They're like, oh, great, that's all it costs, and then we ended up making Stanford University. I was like, all right, well, yeah.
No, you've been showing some power so far this year. I know you hit a couple bombs already. I know you hit one, and you hit a big one against Clemson, I believe, in that Sunday game. Like you said, so how does it feel? You mentioned how important it is to get off to a hot start. You ended up having a really good year last year, but seems like you're coming out blazing this year.
Yeah, it's really big for just personal confidence and team confidence. Just seeing having everyone kind of just start off rolling and in terms of us as players, of course we always feel like we can improve, and we feel like we haven't even played our best baseball yet. But coming out this year, just making sure being disciplined with what we do and just preparing for things. We're sitting at 6-1 or 5-1, but it's really big. Like I said, confidence is really big in this sport. People don't realize how much it kind of can take over your mental headspace and just allow you to go about your day-to-day business in terms of just the way that you handle yourself and just kind of having your chin up and stuff like that. And it's been really big, and it's been awesome to experience so far.
I got another question I got for you is you played shortstop full time last year. I've seen you playing some second this year. How are you? You're playing a little bit of both. How are you enjoying that?
I'm cool with it. I think it's fun. I get to go to the ballpark every single day, and I kind of have a question up in the air where I get to play. So I've been fortunate enough to be in the lineup every single day, but I just get to go there, and he's like, all right, you're going to play second, or you're going to play third, or heck, you might go out and left, or you might play short for an inning. So it adds a little bit of fun for me, and Coach B does that all the time, and it's awesome. It's really fun.
Listen, you keep hitting like you are. It doesn't matter. You'll be in that lineup every day.
He told me that today. He was like, yeah, I don't know where you're going to play tomorrow. Just go hit 2 homers. I was like, well, thanks, Coach. Thanks for the pressure.
Sounds good. Listen, I was talking to Leger a little while back, and because he moved from the infield to the outfield his last year at Ole Miss, and he was like, dude, I swear, I don't know what it was, but moving out to the outfield, not that you are, but it lifted so much weight off my shoulder because I didn't have to worry about the defensive side as much. I was like,
no, it's really big, and especially I would say in connecting to my personal experience last year. So I came in, Gonzo obviously just left, and there's just he's obviously a great shortstop, first round pick and everything. And you buy into the blonde hair and stuff and whatnot. And growing up in Baton Rouge, I understand the SEC expectation, but also going out West Coast for a little bit of a year, you kind of forget about kind of like the outside noise and how much like if you buy into that stuff, it can really kind of take over your game.
Oh yeah.
And I remember last year, like just like blonde hair and just kind of like everything. Like I just bought way too much into that rather than just playing ball. And this year, B was like, "Hey, we're gonna put you at third or second. You can kind of choose whatever you want to do." And I was just like, "All right, it's cool." And unintentionally, like same thing as Leger, like it just lifts a complete like weight off your shoulders that unintentionally, like knowing, like believing my ability, I could handle it. But like you don't even look into those things anymore. And just like I said, it lifts a weight off your shoulders and you just get to play freely. And when you start playing freely in front of like 10,000 at Swayze, it's fun. It's really fun.
It's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
But that's cool. That's cool that like you were able to say, you know what, screw it. I don't really care where I end up playing as long as
and
I'm
B
playing
like funny enough was one of those that like was really big into that. Like a lot of people see him as this like he's like very disciplined, very strict with what he does and goes about his ways, but he also has his caring side. Like I was struggling last year. He called me in like just to his office, always checking in on me. Same thing with Clem and Laugh and all those. And then our new pitching coach, Bangram, does the same exact thing. So it's cool to kind of be able to play freely and have that support staff as well.
No doubt.
The vibe's got to be super high around the team right now. I mean, I feel like the start has been awesome. Pitching staff looks really good. And hell, I want to ask about Hayden Federico.
He's
a dog.
He is legit. He's every bit of, he works hard. He's disciplined. He does everything the right way. It kind of sucks because you can't like bash the kid over anything. Like there's nothing that you can look at him and be like, yo, like he's like not doing this right. He same kid every day in and out. I mean, granted, if he goes 0 for 3, well, he hasn't been doing that much actually. So I can't lie. I mean, he's hitting like 700, but like he's the same guy day in and day out. But like you said, the vibes, it's like it's unmatched right now. I remember last year coming back from Hawaii, we were 2-2. It's just you say the vibes are high and you're kind of going about your business, but at the same time, it's like not as high as like you really want it to be. You just don't want to say it. Like this year, it's like we just rolled out into Arlington. Like we have nothing to lose. Everyone just doesn't have too many expectations for us. Boom, we take 2 out of 3 against 3 really good squads, and then we come out, handle our business in midweeks and in the weekend. And sweeps are hard to come by, like Coach B says. You know, take them from whenever you can get them. And we have a big game coming up against Southern Miss tomorrow, so it should be a really fun one.
That'll be a good one. Those are always fun, man.
I know. I love playing against them. It's like we played my first time playing them was at Pearl, so I haven't been able to play them at Swayze. So I'm excited for it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, weather's kind of warming up. It seems like the weather's warming up a little bit this week too.
Yeah, it was horrible this weekend. I can't even lie. It was every bit of 30 to 40 degrees. And I mean, being from Louisiana, like, I mean, you experience that very little, but I was not expecting to experience that. And like, if you don't hit, like, it puts more pressure on you to hit the ball right. Because if you don't, like, my hands would just be crying for the rest of the game.
Baseball was never made to be played in the cold.
No, never. If anyone, like, Coach B even, you know how he always makes us practice outside. We even went to the Manning Indoor the other day because it was like every bit of 19 degrees. I was like, dang, like this needs to go away now.
I remember one time, like my freshman year, it was sometime late in the spring or in the winter, and he had us all of us up, and he was like, for you new guys, you know, on your recruits, I told you guys that it's never going to get below 45. It's never, you know, it's not going to be that bad. He said, well, guess what? I lied. We're going to practice outside today, and it's going to be 32 degrees. And I was like, come on, man.
People also, one funny thing about Ole Miss is you're not supposed, when you're at the baseball field, the word cold just doesn't exist. Like, you're not allowed to say it. Like, you'll catch, like, he won't actually, like, do anything bad, but, like, you'll catch a look from a coach. Like, if you're like, yo, it's cold. Yeah. Like, you can't say that. And, I mean, I would say it helps, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it's still every bit.
I do think there is like a mental side of it. Like it does kind of help if you're sitting there constantly worrying about how cold it is. But at the same time, like no matter what, if you don't say it's cold or if you say it's cold, you're cold. Like there's no getting around it.
We had live ABs. I think it was like I don't know exactly how long ago, but it was ever since we got back from Christmas break. It was snowing outside.
Yeah.
And B's like, all right, rally the troops. We're going to take live ABs. And like I flew out to center and like I got jammed and I just went like that kind of hurt. And he's like, Hill. And I was like, oh gosh, I know exactly what this is about to be. He goes, we don't show emotion here. Like, we show toughness. I'm like, okay, you know what? You're right. Like, I understand. But he's serious about it, but he's the best.
How hard is it? How hard is it to hit in the cold? Like, I mean, I feel like it's a real thing.
It depends. Like, I would say it's more so just your body your swing doesn't feel as fast. My hands don't feel as strong. The barrel feels smaller, kind of. I'm not gonna lie. But I mean, if you hit it on the barrel, you'll feel okay. But you just honestly, it's one of those things. Like, it's a mental thing. Like, if you let it like get into your head, you're just not gonna play well in it. But as long as you can put it to the side, you should be all right.
Yeah, I mean, if you barrel it up, it's going to feel fine. But like as soon as you get jammed or catch off the end, no, it's miserable. It sucks. Like the thumb guards don't help with that.
No, they don't. They don't. I scratch those.
I want to ask a little bit about, you grew up in Baton Rouge. Did you grow up an LSU baseball fan, or what? Like, I know because the specter of that program just looms over everything.
I mean, yeah, growing up in Baton Rouge, like that's kind of all you know. Funny enough though, like I didn't get the full LSU, like I wasn't like spoon-fed LSU growing up because my whole family's from Texas. So funny enough, my parents are like so into Texas that I was born in Baton Rouge. They put like Texas soil like in a little star like under my mom's like bed that she was giving birth on, and they're like, yeah, you're born on Texas soil. So they're like ride or die.
That's incredible.
They're like ride or die, everything Texas. So I would say, like, honestly, growing up, like my dad was a huge Texas Longhorns fan. But yeah, like I would always go to LSU games just in terms of I was like a really big sports fan. I go to probably from the ages of like 5 to the beginning of high school. I would say I went to every single LSU home game. Like I could go to every single LSU baseball game I could, but I wouldn't say like in the like decision of choosing a school, like it didn't have much of an effect. But I would say like I had a dream of playing in the SEC because of it. I would like just seeing that atmosphere it was a pretty good atmosphere growing up.
No, it's a great atmosphere still. It's awesome.
I'm so pissed Ole Miss doesn't play LSU this year.
I'm so hot about it.
That's not right.
Like, what are we doing?
Traditional opponent in football, thankfully, but like Ole Miss.
I'm looking at that. I'm like, that is a classic. Like, for me, like being now, granted, I could be a little bit selfish. Like, I'm from Baton Rouge. Like, I want to play LSU any chance I can get. But like, at the same time, I feel like to any casual fan who watches sports, it goes LSU versus Ole Miss. All right, I'm tuning in.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, you got to put that game on the schedule. But I guess that's just because Oklahoma and Texas moved in. But we get to go to Oklahoma this year, so I guess that's pretty cool. But playing LSU would be pretty sweet too.
It won't.
You might have 800 fans. Oklahoma thing, crazy. They had like 800 fans opening day. I remember in Omaha national championship, like Ole Miss, we had like 95% of the fans.
It was funny thing. So my freshman year, I went to Arizona State and we didn't make the tournament. So I went to all the LSU stuff with my boys because they're like, yo, let's just go watch the game. And like, for me, it was weird because I was like, yo, like I could be playing on this field right now. Like I'm watching guys that like I could be playing against. So I was just watching. I was like packed house. And then we saw Omaha. So, and then they're like, yo, we have like so many fans and whatnot. I remember like seeing all the it was like the pan screen of Ole Miss. I think it was the day game. And like, it's in like the corner of left field and like every single part of the stands is baby blue. And you might mix in a little bit of like black and gray in there just for people who are visitors. There was no Oklahoma, it seemed.
It was actually nuts, man. Like
I didn't even travels know. Like crazy. I didn't expect it. Like, okay, sorry. I expected it, but I didn't like realize how much like they really mean it.
Same.
Like we went to Arlington versus Texas. Granted, like it's versus Texas. That's a really big game. But that's also a really hard travel. Like all the stands from foul pole to foul pole were just filled. And like from our side over is just all baby blue and red. I was like, dang, like having a support, like having a fans like that makes you like, that's cool.
I truly think that helped us win it. There was it's
unbelievable. And
energy there.
I wasn't like, you were a part of it. So like, I can't speak like exactly for it, but even like me being here in the short time that I have, like people always ask me like, what are your plans? Like, to like for this year and whatnot. I'm like, just get us there because our fans make us so delusional to the fact that we aren't supposed to lose.
Yeah.
Like it just gives, once you get there and once you just have your name written in, it's like, yo, we got nothing to lose. Our fans are going to be right behind us.
Yeah.
We're going to go in like so psyched out that we're going to win, and like not like we're expecting to win, but at the same time we're planning to win, and we have all the bit of confidence because of our fans.
I used to tell people have so much confidence to the point where it's like you're almost delusional. Like you have more confidence than you actually your ability to do. Like, and once you do that, then you're going to start. You'll get hot quick.
Well, it's the same
that's
thing.
What it is, man. It's all confidence.
It is.
Yeah.
We rolled up into Arlington. I was just like, yo, like people are expecting us to like go 0-3 here.
Yeah.
Like people really want us to go 0-3. Like, but like look at our fans. Like at the same time, like they're delusional. Like every single media outlet's like Ole Miss is just we're not going to perform well and whatnot, which is cool. Like they can have their opinions. I'm not bashing their opinions, but at the same time, it's like, yo, our support system's just telling us like, yo, we're like all this, all that. We're going to go in there and sweep and whatever. So it's just like we have that needed confidence to go in there and win ball games.
That's what's cool about like just Ole Miss as a brand is we were like 14th out of 16 or maybe 15 out of 16 in the SEC preseason. Obviously not ranked top 25, and then 2 weeks later, it's like you guys are ranked. It's like,
well,
okay,
that's it.
Really?
We did some media thing for the school the other day, and they were like, "What do you think about like the preseason rankings and whatnot?" I was like, "Well, I mean, like I feel like we've been put in a position where it's like if we just go win, that'll take care of itself. Like we're playing some really good squads, and we just have to look into the fans and just buy into this delusion that we're like the number 1 team in the country no matter what." And I mean, hey, it helped us, and hopefully we can keep riding that high.
For sure, man.
It's a really good team, though. Like, well, we're out. Peyton and I are obviously biased, but we both said, you know, Ole Miss sleeper team in the SEC because the pitching staff's loaded this year.
Unbelievable.
Coach Mangum's great addition, and I don't know, man. There's a lot of talent on this team. I felt like this felt like going in kind of like what Mississippi State did last year when they had a couple bad years and then they had that huge bounce back. That's what this year kind of felt like to me going in.
It's one of those things too where it's like I feel like Ole Miss just got put. I say Ole Miss. I say our team got put into a position where it's just like a very media driven reputation in terms of like if one like all like some of these media sources are saying like we're not going to be too good, and then they kind of just buy into that. But like from like my point of view, it's like coming back as a returner. It's like, all right, well, we have 3 national champions like on the weekend. Like, I mean, that's everything that we could ever ask for. And then we also have our main bullpen pieces coming back. And it's like, all right, well then why don't I just help and do part of my job with the offense as well? And then the offense will do their job. Yeah, we're rolling. Like that's like, and it was just like, all right, well, we have a squad behind us and we're going to be pretty darn good. And it's going to be really fun to watch. And I mean, heck, it's been amazing so far.
Yeah, I mean, right now everything's clicking. So, but I promise you, if you haven't gotten that speech already, Coach Pete's going to say, "I can guarantee you, we're going to lose more than 1 game this year," or whatever.
Oh, the first game he goes, "I guarantee you, we're not going to go 56-0."
Yeah,
that one all the time. I'm like, okay, like I think we got it. But and then the midweek challenge, he loves the midweek challenge reference. But
oh yeah,
I mean it's
true. It is true. It actually is. Like. We are hot right now. We got to stay good, keep going, let it roll. But then whenever stuff hits the fan, like we got to figure a way to get right back to it. I already know the speeches he gives. It's awesome.
Yeah, I don't have to tell you about them. I know you know them. And you know them more than I do right now.
So, okay, when it came, like you had a really, I went through your bio and saw you had a really good high school career and, you know, you were a highly rated recruit. What made you decide to go out west to play for Arizona State? I know they have a lot of tradition out there.
Okay, so funny enough, my sophomore year, I was originally committed to Tulane University, but that was during the whole like COVID era, like COVID time. So my parents did sports, but they were like never really took them too seriously in terms of like college and whatnot. And I'm an only child, so it's kind of like a first time process throughout this whole thing. And COVID hit, and they're like, well, like, we don't know how long this is going to last, like, whatever. This is, like, your only offer at the time. So I was just like, all right, like, I'm just going to go to Tulane, like, in-state, close to home, great school, whatnot. So I ended up committing to Tulane, and then, like, closer to signing day, I obviously decommitted, and I went to, like, a couple of showcases and whatnot, and then ended up at Arizona State. They, like, called me and whatnot. I went out for a visit, and it was amazing. But I will say one thing about Arizona State is Scottsdale and Tempe is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's a good spot. It was beautiful. Like you have everything that you could want. Like, I mean, I like to shop. So, I mean, the mall there was pretty cool. And then there was a ton of like sporting events, like you go to the Suns game and whatnot. So it was a good experience out there, but that's like kind of how I ended up out there. It was a pretty basic recruiting process for me. And then obviously I entered the portal and I kind of knew once Coach B called me, I was like, yeah, this is
exactly
this is
where I'm
it.
going.
Yeah.
That seems to be the case for most people. It's like once you take a visit, you call
also
coach,
like especially like let's say like for example, I was like leaning towards another school. Like seeing Coach B, it puts you right back at the 50-50 mark. And then you talk to Clem and laugh, and it's like,
yeah,
they tell you everything that you want to hear, and then they actually live up to it.
Yeah.
It's
I think that like Laugh does such a good job of recruiting. He's really good at it. And like, but that is the way he acts on like your recruiting visitor when he's talking to you on the phone is exactly how he would talk to you.
I was in shock when he talked to me the exact same way, like in like October and November as he did in July, because like obviously like I'm a recruit, like they're gonna look at me like at that point in time, like, oh, like we're gonna give you everything and whatnot. And it's easy just once you get back to campus to be another guy, but it's like they treat every single guy like that on the team and they make you feel wanted there. And it's like, how can you not want to play?
Good dudes for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, here's a fun question for you. Put you on the spot.
Okay.
More beautiful women, Arizona State or Ole Miss? Two of the best.
Geez.
Two of the stone cold. Two of the best in the nation.
That's tough, man.
That Arizona State situation's wild.
Okay.
You're allowed to be honest. You're allowed to be honest here.
Arizona State's it's
wild out there, man. I've spent some time.
Yeah. Well, okay. I will say this also, like that was my freshman year. So I'm obviously going to be in like a little bit of shock.
Everybody's hot to you.
Yeah. It's different. It's different. Like going out West, I was like, whoa, okay. Like this is what it's like. But yeah, I'll say Arizona State for that department.
I mean, I think most people would probably agree. I don't know. I've never been out there, but
it's a really good spot. But Ole Miss is solid too.
Yeah, I mean you can't go wrong. I feel like Arizona State they dress a little differently out there.
Yeah. Okay, that is one thing. Okay, that is one thing. I'll just keep it at this. I don't understand like just the clothing there compared to like in Oxford is so much different. Like. There's not nearly any skin showing here. Like,
yeah, you're getting a nice Southern lady down.
Yeah, you're getting a nice Southern lady. When you go out West, it's like, like they're trying to show off to you. Like they're like, yeah, like this is what it's about. Like, welcome out to the West. I was like, and as a freshman, I was just like, cool.
Sounds great.
Like this is cool with me. I have no problem with this.
Yeah.
What was so getting to play? Obviously, the Pac-12's dissolved now, and Arizona State's in the Big 12, but. A lot of baseball tradition out there. What was that like versus playing in the SEC? That had to be a great experience for you as a freshman.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a lot different in terms of like growing up. Like all I saw was SEC baseball, so it felt like a lot like pro baseball going out there at Arizona State because in terms of like fans, like the fans here at Oxford and that experience gives you like a true college experience. Like out West, it kind of just felt like it wasn't like it was like a really good experience in terms. It felt like pro ball. And I liked that. It was really cool. And like I said, it was my first bit of college. So I can't say too much negative about it, but I would say like it was a really good spot because there's everything that I could have ever wanted to do. Like I said, I like to shop and I like to go out and watch games and do whatnot. And then Mill Ave's fun. And then Scottsdale's pretty. And I like to golf as well. So it's just stuff like that. So, and it was a little bit different because also it's a culture shock. Like, I dress differently now. Like I don't like I'll just do this. Like I have just way too many shoes.
Yeah. Let's go.
Like just chilling there. That was never a consideration in Baton Rouge. Like I would have I'm rocking on clouds and khakis.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm wearing.
You can still get away with that at Ole Miss.
Oh yeah, you can, but now I don't wear that anymore. Straight joggers, dunks, all of that. So it was definitely a culture shock for sure.
You're saying you got that from whenever you went to Arizona State?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. I was gonna say I mean that could be Oxford, I guess, in like some ways, but no.
No, I got all that from Arizona State. That was pure West Coast. Like I remember me and my buddies were gonna go out to Mill for a little bit, just hang out and like go eat and whatnot. And I remember I put on khakis and a polo. They like started laughing at me. I was just like, dang, like these dudes hate me. Like, what is going on? And they're like, dude, what are you wearing? So like we just had to roll over to H&M, and like I bought some like cargo pants, like a graphic tee, and then I just wore like my Adidas shoes for the night.
Hey, H&M's a good spot too.
I love it. It's cheap, $10 to $15 shirts, and they look good. So I'm all for it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. So it sounds like was that last Arizona State question was, I mean, you were young then, you were a freshman in college, how did going out west, like away from your comfort zone, was that like a really good growing experience for you?
It was, because it was one of those things where like you have no choice but to kind of figure out like who you are as a person, the things that are important to you and what you need to focus on. Like growing up, like I said, I was an only child. So I always had my dad and my mother there. They kind of, I was the only child, so they always were on me and just make sure I was just doing about my business and getting everything done. But at the same time, now that I'm moving 24 hours away, it's like they're going to do everything that they can. But at the end of the day, like I have to do it for myself. And you kind of grow up really quickly just being so far away from home and your first experience in college, and you're trying to play baseball as well. So kind of having all those three things add up, you just got to grow up, and it was a good experience. I think I learned a lot from it.
I remember that. Like, did you go up there your freshman like summer before school?
No, I didn't. So I tried. Fun enough, like I was one of those kids. I was like, I don't want to go to college. I want to stay home. Like,
that was
scared.
The best.
Like,
that was maybe the best time in college was that.
Well, that's what everyone is saying. Like that I heard some crazy stuff about the summer workouts up there that I'm just like, dang, that's wild. But I was one of those kids. I was like, I just want to stay home, like see my parents and like see my friends and whatnot.
Hey, that's fair too.
I definitely could have gone up for the summer. Looking back at it, like now, like I don't go home as much. I like because Oxford's home now. Yeah. That's one thing that Oxford does really well. It's like in the summer too, when it's like not too crowded, it's heaven. Like it's
kind of nice
awesome.
Actually.
Yeah, but
that is true. Definitely true. But
after your freshman year, I saw you hit 315, 6 homers. Like you had a really good freshman year at Arizona State. You said you always dreamed of playing SEC baseball, so you knew you wanted to jump into the SEC, or was that like a tough debate to leave Arizona State?
It was a tough decision because, in all respect to ASU, they gave me everything that I could have ever asked for as a freshman. They treated me well, like off the field and on the field, and then they gave me every opportunity to play as a freshman and go out there and do my thing. And it was just one of those things where it just kind of the situations added up. Like I said, I'm 24 hours away from home, and then it also doesn't. Just my dream was always to just kind of go about and go and play in the SEC. So that's nothing against them. That's nothing against like the coaching staff or anything. It's just one of those things where I feel like I worked really hard and I always dreamed of like accomplishing a goal, and I kind of want to just go out and do that. So that's kind of what I did.
That's nice. Because people are going to say you had a bad year last year, which I don't truly think you had a bad year, but you had maybe not what people think you are capable of doing. Like, has there been any change from last year to this year, or is it just simply like, hey, it's baseball and I'm doing better right now?
Well, okay, I will say this. I feel like, especially in Oxford, it was like a really known thing. Like the beginning of the year was horrible. Like I just didn't start off well, like off the field issues, like in terms of like nothing bad, but it was just like a ton of like fans just like allowing them to just get in my head and whatnot.
Sure.
And I just kind of like,
and that can happen.
And it
Ole
does.
Miss fans can be brutal too, man.
And I love them to death, but they're honest. Like they want to win, and that's it. And you just like, and they deserve it. So it's like you want to do everything in your power to go out and help them win. And when you're not doing that, some people like me, like at that time, I wasn't mature enough to just kind of sit back, just drop my shoulders and just go, all right, like it's going to be okay. Like I just tensed up, and it kind of took me a while to just kind of get my feet wet and get going. And to be honest with you, like this year, like playing at Swayze, like this past weekend was the first weekend that I've played there and going, like, I don't feel any pressure of like trying to please these, like the fans. Like I just want to go out there and play ball with my boys.
That's
so
good.
I would say that's kind of like what I've been, just more relaxed and been more myself and just playing for the guys and playing with the fans rather than just trying to prove the fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. It's hard. It's like way harder than people think it is. Coach B will say like, don't look at the tweets or whatever, because if you read them when you're doing well, then you're gonna believe them whenever you're doing bad. And
he's right.
It is very true. and it's so hard.
I hate how right he is. Like, that's the thing. It's like, because being like, again, like being a transfer coming from the Pac-12 and just kind of being like a homegrown, like Southeastern kid, it's like, oh, he's coming back, like he's going to have a really good year and whatnot. And you obviously build in this expectation. So everyone's going to just be saying great things about you. And then if you just don't have like the great start that you had, like I had last year, it's like, well, you're just going to read the negative, and then you're so used to reading the comments that you're just going to take everything that they say so literal, and you just start putting bad thoughts in your head, and it's just a downhill from there.
Yeah.
Once you kind of move past that part and just like go about your flow and just go about with the guys with you and go with the coaching staff, you play a lot better.
Baseball's so weird where like you can spiral down that path so quick and so easy, and then it's so hard to get back out. Like it
happens it almost happens too quick. Sometimes you're like, dude, I just felt like I was on top of the world, and now it's just like I feel like I've hit rock bottom.
Yep.
But you learn a lot about yourself. Once you get through those things, like I think like that last year was the toughest adversity I've had in a while. Like in terms of my life, I would say like the whole like Instagram, Twitter, just all that, like having to deal with that adversity and having to deal with just the backlash and stuff. Like you find out you find out your support staff, and that's not a bad thing. Like my support staff has been everything. Like they've been amazing. And then you find out a lot about yourself. You just go about your business, and it's one of those things where I just learned to just pick myself up, and you got to keep moving.
Yeah. That's all you can do.
I like that perspective too. Obviously I'm not an athlete, but
come on, man. Don't sell yourself short there.
But if I paid attention to all the comments that are made about me at Barstool, I'd be pretty depressed. So
no,
I don't look at them either.
It's tough not to, man. It's so hard. But
Coach B all the time is like, he's like, yo, like you could have, let's say I could hit a home run.
Yeah.
And I could have 20 comments. 19 of them are saying like I'm the best player ever. The last one could be like, this dude sucks, he's horrible, like whatnot. Which one sticks out the most? Probably the one saying that you're horrible. So it's just like stuff like that. It's just like, dang, he's right. Like I hate it, but he's right.
Bro, I used to go like whenever, because Coach P will post the lineup on Twitter, and I would go in there before a game and I'd be scrolling and I'd see it, and of course I click on it and I read the comments and just be like, oh my gosh, why is Chottier still in the lineup? Like,
they said the same thing.
And so I'm going into the game already thinking of like all these negative thoughts. I'm like, oh,
there was a funny one last year. I can laugh. I laughed at it, honestly.
Sometimes that's the way I try to cope, is like I'll just like somebody's tweet if they tweet something funny. Like, all right, that was good.
There was, I think, I forgot when it was, but I wasn't in the lineup. And then one of those like people like retweeted like the comment thing. It was a picture of the lyrics. It's like, I used to pray for times like this. I was like, all right, like +1 for that one. Like that one's funny.
Some of them are funny. Some of them are funny.
But it's like at the same time, it's like I saw an Instagram comment that was just like, whatever makes you laugh. Like it's just wait for it till he comes right back at you. I was like, well, yeah, like I guess you're right. But
what sucks is there's like really no winning. Like, okay, you can prove them wrong, but then who cares? Like that doesn't mean nothing. That's the part that sucks.
If you get petty with it, which Big Cat taught me up at Barstool, like whenever he like picks winners, he just goes back to quote tweets and trolls them all. You know? And I'm a fan of doing that. Like I'll go.
Oh yeah, no, I will.
I'm doing really good. I'll just go back.
I have a lot of screenshots of just horrible things. Because I saw a tweet. Someone showed me a tweet, and because I don't have Twitter, funny enough, like I don't. Like I stay off of it. Like
that's good. No, that's smart.
Like and even and like I knew that I had to get rid of it because like I'll be honest, like I just had an amazing weekend in Arlington. Of course, I'm gonna like I searched up like what my like it's so easy, and I'm sitting there going, dang, like I'm literally going back into square one of what happened last year. Like I just want to go see what people are saying about me, and it's like, all right, like you don't need to be doing that. Just stay level headed and whatnot. But I saw a tweet my friend showed me. I don't know who showed me. It might have been Fed or a picture or something, but it was like it was a comment saying if you would have said these things about Luke Hill 365 days ago, you would have gotten stoned in Oxford. And it's just like, I mean, yeah, it's funny, but you can't pay attention to that stuff. You can't let it dictate how you go about your business as a person, because then like you said, it's just going to be a downward slope from there, and that's not good.
Yeah, it's bad. I had teammates that would like just cancel all their social media, like delete their accounts. I can't do it. Like, I don't blame you. There's some bad ones out there. I had to get to the point where like I had to finally call my mom, my grandma, my dad, my girlfriend at that time, like, hey, you guys can't reply to this. Like, I know it's out there, but it's making me look worse whenever you reply, because then it's like I got to get my grandma to reply because I can't. I'm like,
well, that's okay. Fun enough, I will say this as well. So last year, someone was saying that like I created my own burner, like to defend myself.
Yeah.
Obviously I wasn't aware of it because I didn't have Twitter, so it's just like I'm not like doing anything. So I was completely unaware. Yeah, it was come to find out it was two of my buddies from home like backing me up. I'm like, yo, look, love y'all to death, but like y'all can't be doing this right now. Like this is making me look. This is not making me look any better. But like I love the support, but y'all can chill out about that for a little bit.
I had some teammates that created burners just so they could get some stuff off their chest.
Like, no, I won't go as far as creating a burner, because like I'm like in 20 years they're gonna be able to just be like ping, boom, bam, that's your phone. So I'm not falling into that trap. But it's funny. Too. It's funny seeing that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I would never be the Ole Miss fan that said anything negative.
Never in your life.
Because I'll never get anyway.
Well, the thing is though, like I will say on the other side of that, it's like, all right, I understand where you're coming from, because me being a football fan, if my kicker misses a kick, you best believe I want to rip him into shreds. It's like all you do is kick. Like you got to make that kick. So I mean, there's obviously like a understanding side to it.
I definitely get it. Like you are allowed to be mad at me for having a bad day. But as soon as you tell me I suck in that I'm short, in that I'm ugly or like whatever, then it's like, okay, now you're just attacking like me.
It's like, yo, dude, you're not even, like, I understand I played bad. Like, you don't gotta go about that.
I care about it more than you do. I promise.
Yeah.
Well,
that's funny.
At least you're on the side of it where, neither one of y'all freaked out when the team was 1-8 and. I didn't when I was friends with half the team. So
that's all right. Listen,
I'm so glad that everybody liked me after that.
It happens.
It was part of it. It was a tough moment. I called Coach B's sons and like apologized. I wrote this like huge apology blog. Like I freaked out. Like it was a bad deal. So.
There's definitely still some people at Ole Miss that I don't think are too fond of you.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. That's totally fair. If I were them, that's
their opinion. That's at the end of the day, that's their opinion.
Can't please them all,
Exactly.
That's why I don't read the comments. But anyway, Luke. So coming up, Southern Miss tomorrow. Next few weeks, kind of getting geared up for SEC. Just what's this time of year like?
It's fun. It's obviously easy to look into the bright things. We're sitting at 5-1 and. A lot of people are having personal success and the team's having a lot of team success. So it's obviously to ride that high, but you need to make sure that you go into practice every single day, just going with something to work on and something to get better at, because all the other 300 and X teams who are trying to win a national championship are doing the same thing. And I know my last year was first experience at SEC ball. It goes day by day. Like the SEC does not have any feelings for how you are as a team or how you are as a person. It will bury you down if you don't show up and be ready to play. So kind of just getting our feet under us and making sure that everything's going about it. Like we're doing the things the right way and being as fundamentally sound as possible. And most important thing, having fun and being like glad to show up to the baseball field. Those are the things that you look for at this time of year. And, it's easy to look ahead in 2 weeks and we open up with Arkansas at home, but you got to be where your feet are and just be in the present moment.
The SEC is, it's tough, but it'd be good to have some momentum going into the SEC
for sure.
Play. That's huge.
It's also cool that we, fortunately, for my 2 years here, we get to open up at home for SEC play.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
It's cool.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Heck yeah. Well, you got anything? You have anything else, Peyton?
I think I'm good, man. I appreciate you coming on. We're following you here. We love you. I hope you crush it, man.
I hope we do it for the fan. And one thing I will say, like people, like I said, it's like, oh, you don't do it for the fans and whatnot, or like at the same time, like you want to do it for the fans. Like there's no better feeling than just like you win and then you see like you tip your cap to the student section, they start chanting, like that's the stuff at the end of the game you live for. So like buying into that's really fun.
And like as much as we are sitting here bashing all the people that talk mess about us, like there's more faithful fans in the people that are
and that's the thing that people don't realize. Like even when I was struggling, like you have a lot of fans that DM you to be like, yo, we got your back, bro, like and all that. And like people don't realize like that helps a lot, like especially for an athlete. And I will say, like, I'm starting to grow back, like, past the point where, like, I try not to, like, look at my DMs, or I don't really look at Twitter too much. Like, Snapchat, I mean, that's just my friends. So, that's really easy. But it's just stuff like that. You kind of start moving past it. But, yeah, it's good to see those positive comments every once in a while.
Absolutely.
Loving the start to the season, that's for sure. And we're certainly going to be following it, supporting y'all all year. And I'm trying to make the Vandy double-decker weekends the one.
That will be
double-decker weekend is so sick.
Well, I went there. Yeah, it was packed last year. Packed, like
awesome.
Like a different level of packed. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I get that reaction like every single time in Oxford. I'm just like, oh, all right. Like I didn't know it was like that. Like Oxford is such a unique spot, and they have like when they pack the house for sure.
You guys keep winning, and you're going to see a whole different breed. Like it's.
I hope to. I pray every day that I'm fortunate enough to experience that. I'm looking forward to it, especially if we're winning.
Yeah.
So. Luke Hill, Ole Miss infielder, tearing it up, hitting 460 to start the year. Appreciate you joining Peyton and I. And we got subscribe to and subscribe to YouTube, because we got a lot more college baseball interviews and content coming out all season long.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate your time.